Hey there everyone. I have a little update from the video I uploaded last week regarding the unidentified men who showed up at my home claiming to have a warrant for the installation of this smart meter, and there has been no communication at all or response from any of my correspondence and lawful letters to the individual responsible for the agents of E.ON. Now I just want to point out that what our Father says, and it's a parental command to use wisdom and act accordingly to knowledge rather than to willingly consent to sin, sin being lawlessness. If sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Proverbs 1:10. So Proverbs chapter 1 verse 10. Once again, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. So when these men turned up at my home, they were claiming to have a warrant, which I never had the privilege of setting my eyes on. It was on a handheld device, and surely a warrant, a true warrant, would be signed by a justice of the peace, a judge. So without this confirmation of the warrant, it's just claimed for them to have possession of a warrant. And the police were called, and the police seemingly contracted to these people, these men, and said that their warrant is legitimate. Okay, so I've wrote to E.ON with my requests. Nothing too complicated, just asking for answers on certain points, and there has been no response. Now yesterday, post came through at the address, and this letter from E.ON, which was received yesterday. Today is the 8th of November. Yesterday was the 7th of November. And this letter here states, your meter appointment. Now this letter is dated the 29th of October 2024. So seemingly this letter, this document was created on the 29th of October 2024. We are pleased to confirm that a technician from E.ON Next or one of our partners will arrive on the 29th of October 2024 between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. We know that sometimes things come up and you need to rearrange. Please call us on this number. We'll do everything we can to arrive within the time agreed, as we never want to let you down when it comes to visiting your property. But sometimes unexpected things happen, and under our guarantee standards of service, you could be entitled to a payment if we do not arrive when we say we will visit. This works both ways. If you cancel an appointment 24 hours or less before our technician arrives, or you don't want to give them access to complete the work, we may charge you £30 to help recover our costs. Now, what I want to point out, which is very obvious, but I'll point it out anyway. So they're claiming to have an agreement with someone. I don't know who this is because it wasn't me. That there is an appointment agreed for the 29th of October. Now, this letter was dated and created on the 29th of October. So how much notice were they intending to give the individual at that address? But also, if it is a meter appointment, why would they need a warrant? Where is the warrant? Because I haven't seen it. And in my belief, this is a way that they're using to cover up their unlawful grounds of why they visited the other day, because there was no agreement. If there was an agreement, it wasn't made with me. So who are they making these agreements with and keeping me at this address out of the loop? So as I said, there's a lot going on, and it's just distraction from what I should be doing. My whole intention was to not consent to unlawfulness. That started way back in 2020. And my intention was to be able to help people and advise on certain things to keep their spirits up, to keep people united, so that we have support in not to consent to unlawfulness, which is sin. But because I'm always tied up with these letters and everything else that's going on, there's been no response from the courts whatsoever. There was supposed to have been a judicial review sent to the High Court, and it was instructed upon my request by an official recorder of Cambridge, a senior official. That instruction was never followed, and it put a big traumatic experience onto the grounds that had already been acted on that were unlawful. So it's an ongoing thing, you see. And as I said, with this Eon situation, £40,000 bill was produced from a so-called legitimate company at the same time that the track and trace, an unlawful warrant, all these things going on where I wasn't safe to stay here. But lo and behold, as it is God's will, I'm still here. So now, trying to rebut these things, a £40,000 bill, and also a £10,000 bill from the private company Acro, who is run by chief constables and police officers, for speaking on a megaphone. There has been so many notices, so many letters and communications that has gone to the individuals and the people in question, and there has been no responses. Now I'm wondering, why is it that there is no responses coming to the individual who's writing for these lawful requests and answers to find clarity, etc. And these ongoing injustices are still carrying on. So as I've been refrained with my hands tied behind my back, not being able to come forward and help people in need, I just want to make a very important point. Everything is not as it seems. And you do not have to consent to things that do not resonate or which are not true. But you must keep record, and you must rebut the accusations. If something comes through to your home that you do not agree with, record it. Write down on paper what it is that you do not agree with. Then they are your terms that you can put back over to this individual who's acting in responsibility of certain corporations, or these acts that are being done against innocent individuals. So it's all about recording the truth, rebutting certain claims and accusations, and standing in your truth. And like I said, God says, and it's a parental command, to not consent to sin or lawlessness, which is sin. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. So I'm once again writing another letter today in response to this seemingly piece of information that tries to reflect their unlawful actions and false warrant from the 29th of October, when 3 unidentified men turned up at my home, intimidating, and claimed to have a warrant which has never been produced. They also turned up at my home with recording body cam footage. They were already recording, so I will be asking for that as well. But on the 29th of October 2024, a letter was produced, written, to give warning about an appointment that was supposed to have been arranged with somebody, not by me, that the appointment would go ahead on the 29th of October, which is absurd. There's no notice, no warning. And this was delivered on the 7th of November 2024. Consent thou not.